okay, was I started with you mentioned Satguru saying there are wrong times to make decisions in the month, okay? And what I was thinking, and you tend to talk about the moon and quite a lot, and full moon particularly, and now with the with the waxing and the waning of the moon, okay, does that mean that as you are approaching the full moon, that's perhaps a very creative time and building, and then when in the full moon starts disappearing for the next half of the month, is that a time for perhaps something else, maybe routine type activity, and not the creative side, perhaps, or not the emphasis? Can you enlighten me there?
Well, I think there's some truth to what you've pointed to, but I don't know that it's necessarily as black and white as that, because I mean you could also say throughout the day there are good times to do things. Like when I say good as meaning better times to do things at a certain time of day than others. For example, they often, well, it's my direct experience that spiritual practice conducted early in the morning, and by early I mean, like 4 a.m., has a much more profound impact than at other times of the day.
Okay, but let's just leave spiritual exercise out. I find that from the time of waking and getting up, which for me is about 5 a.m., through to about midday, okay, is I'm at my best with regards to creativity,
for sure,
to the writing and things. But after midday, all the way through to the time I go to bed at 9 o'clock, it sort of gets worse, not worse, but gets I get less and less. I get fatigued. I get tired. I get very non-creative, and I just taught myself never to create a class or during the afternoon, okay, or the evening. Is that what you're saying? That maybe the morning is the best time?
I think so. But in terms of it being the best time, like the best time for you.
Yes.
Not for everyone.
Oh, you don't think it's sort of an energy that comes with the sunrise and
no, because I think at the risk of sort of I don't like the terms, but some people are like very productive and very focused and very energized and in the morning. Others are at night. So I think it depends on the individual somewhat, but I think having that awareness for what it means for you is important. But in terms of like to use the full moon example, I mean in my mind, that it affects everyone just because of, I mean you can just see it, like the tides, it's dragging all of the water on the planet in a certain direction. So it's pretty hard to deny that one. So.
Yeah. That's why I wondered if it does, if it is really different to other people. I know that what you say practically is true, but as you say, you can't deny the tides, and so surely the tides, or let's say the sun rising and the sun setting, or the full moon waxing and waning, has the same sort of possibility or positiveness about for everybody, okay, and
for sure.
And so not saying that it's different for everybody, saying actually it's the same for everybody, okay. So maybe some people just in a sense deny it, and so their creativity is, let's call it, at the wrong time. If they did it at another time, that argument's sake, the same. If it was during the day when the sun is rising and reaching its zenith, then that's when it is. Okay, if the sun plays a role in that.
But I think it's probably a little more complex than that too, though, isn't it? Because I think in a broader sense, the alignment of planets or the position of planets and those sorts of things also have an impact on us. So it might well be that in December, at the longest day of the year in the southern hemisphere, the energy plays on you in a certain way, but in another part of the world where it's the shortest day of the year, it might have a completely different energetic effect on you as well.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that you use the word "you." Okay, I'm saying that, but it has that effect for everybody. Okay,
for sure. It's just some people don't.
And it doesn't matter how if the planets are aligned; they're aligned for everybody. Okay. And so, yeah, the sun rising at a different time, but the concept of the fact that the sun rising and getting to its height is the same for everybody, for that sun, for that moment, for that particular half day. So therefore, what Sadhguru said that you picked up, okay, there are some times, I don't know if you mentioned month or day, that you shouldn't make decisions, or it's a bad time to, not shouldn't, but not a good time to make decisions. What was he referring to? Or didn't he enlarge, didn't he?
Well, I think, and this is just my interpretation of it, but you look at things like, emergency ward admissions, during full moons, they're run off their feet by all sorts of lunatics.
Yeah. Vampires.
So, there's lots of people out there making, decisions that are obviously not working out to their best interest.
Okay.
But I think it's not necessarily a case of saying, don't make big decisions at this time. I think it's sort of saying, be aware of where you are at. And if you're confronted with some big decisions, the first thing you have to ask yourself is this a good time for me to be making this decision?
But how would you know that if you don't know you should be making decisions when the sun rises or setting?
Well, I think one of the wonderful pieces of technology that we have at our disposal is our body. How am I feeling? What's my intuition saying? What's my body telling me? Is it tense? Is it agitated? Is it relaxed? Is it feeling joyful? I think.
Right.
What's my mind telling me? Which is more of the emotional response, I guess. Because that's where emotions seem to reside, is in the mind. And so I think it's a matter of being in tune with those technologies which are available to us right now. And checking in with them. It's that sort of conscious awareness.
Yeah.
And if I am feeling agitated and not at ease and twitchy, then there's some signs there about whether I should be tackling these sorts of decisions today.
Yeah. Okay. Now I agree with you there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You were saying before our interval, and that about I asked you about what is your forecast for 2022, and for me, I'm just so intrigued to see what happens with AI, okay, and particularly AI and quantum computing, okay. That I'd really, first of all, I enjoy the voice aspect of AI, okay, where like Siri on the phone and so on, and I think I know that before the end of this year, it's probably going to reach new heights, okay, because they're already, starting to sense feelings and all sorts. So you'll be able to, have AI tell you whether your boss is cross with you or from the tone of his voice and things like that. And
It'll be an interesting experience, won't it, when you ask Siri something, and if she's been programmed with the Plumstead methodology, you get the response back. So why do you want to do that?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's going to reach that sort of thing. Okay, I really do. I think you're going to have a conversation with the artificial intelligent voice that is going to be like a human. Okay, absolutely like a human, and it's going to detect, the frequency in your voice. Whether you're talking tongue in cheek, for example. Okay, it'll be able to detect that. Okay, I mean, I don't know if you've ever sworn at Siri or one of these things. Okay, they programmed it. They have been for a year now. It comes back to you and says, "Don't be rude. I don't enjoy that," or something like that. It does. It says that. It's so funny. I do it just to hear them sometimes. But I do not all, but most of my searching on my desktop through audio. I just find it's quicker, easier, and I really get. I sense I get better response than typing in my my queries into Google, and
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's quick, it's fascinating, and sometimes
I'll have to try that. Yeah.
You really must, because it works like a charm. Okay, and yeah. Anyway, it's I'm looking forward to seeing it, because I think that's going to advance in leaps and bounds. There's no doubt in my mind that this whole everything to do with AI and voice is going to be something to watch. Okay.
I wrote a small book, some years ago now, using that dragon naturally speaking.
Yes. Oh yes, yeah.
And for me it worked. I mean, I still had to go back and edit it fairly heavily, but for me it worked so well, because I just found that just sort of virtually dictating it enabled me to get it out of my, because I could never type fast enough.
I know what you mean. I used dragon speaking as well. Okay, probably, I don't know, 10 years ago or 5 years ago or something. Definitely, and it did work. And you had to put time in so it recognized your voice and your accent and so on. And I did that. And so yeah, it worked very well. But now, of course, you don't need dragon speaking, okay? Because
no, that's right.
It's everywhere. So yeah, I must actually go back to thinking of writing, because I enjoyed doing those sort of 5-minute or 2-minute videos. Remember that I was doing about odd things, and I never had time. And so one of the only aspect for the new year for me, not about a resolution, but is that I want more me time. Okay, Get Set Up in 2021, it basically took all my time. Okay, and so I'm the whole focus now is streamlining it so that I can do those little videos. I can maybe do a quick ebook on dragon speaking, and just things that I enjoy doing and would like to do. And
I think so, and I think the other context around it for me too, because I was pondering that again myself about, I was looking at a couple of podcasts and things like that, just on topics that it was more just browsing more than anything. And it had me pondering about the people who make those podcasts or make those little videos and stuff like that. And I sort of thought, that might be nice and da da da. But then I sort of thought to myself, you know what? I think I would only do something if I think I've got something important to say. I don't think I would just do it for the sake of talking.
But wouldn't you do it for fun? I mean, no harm in having fun.
Oh no, I agree with that. But if
you enjoy doing it, but something that's fun.
If finding content became a chore.
Oh no, that's different. That's different. But I mean, if you had to just speak, I mean, we've spoken about a lot of different subjects today, for example. Okay, and you have an opinion, I have an opinion, and it can be fun. And so, but for me, it's not about really what I want to do. It's about making some time to do whatever I want to do every day of the week. Okay.
I hear you. I think that's so
Yeah.
important. And if the new technologies enable us,
Yes.
give us back some of that time because it's serving us,
Yeah.
then absolutely bring it on. Bring it on.
Yeah. I agree. That's me. And so. Yeah. That's for me is my.
And that's a good example actually, because someone said to me the other day, I made a little wooden bowl or something there, just out of a scrap piece of wood there over the weekend. And someone said to me, "Oh, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that?" I said, "Because I enjoyed doing it by hand. I like it."
Yeah. That's it. That's the point. Absolutely.
And I said to them, my you might have even seen the post. I don't know if you look at Facebook with the post there. I said,
I hardly go.
This piece of timber is dense, fragrant, and imperfect, just like me.
Yeah, but that's the point. You just need to have me time,
and not be frightened of imperfections. That's
it's got nothing to do with it. It's just me time. Whatever it is. It's not there for somebody else to compliment or, and you want to, take a photograph of it and put it onto Facebook. That's part of what you enjoy. Okay. So. During the year, I tried the whole Instagram thing. I enjoyed it, but it's just I don't want to allocate some of me time to responding to people on Facebook or on Instagram.
Oh no, exactly. No,
and I really don't. So I tend not to post now. Okay,
that's not enjoyable at all. But the other thing too is I think it's also important to have the sense of humor. I heard these guys on the radio the other day. It really tickled my fancy. It was on a North American radio station that I listened to, and it was their New Year's Day, which was the 2nd of January. And the radio announcer says, "I don't know," he says, "it might be the depressants talking." He says, "But I'm feeling pretty upbeat about 2022. It really tickled my fancy. I thought, that's a good one to after the year that was, So anyway. Can't take yourself too seriously, can you? So.
No, and I think sometimes it's a fault of mine, and I think when aware of it, that's all you can be, is aware of it. Okay. Yeah.
And not beat yourself up over it. Hey, it's just like
I tend to do that as well. Okay.
I think we all do. Some people just hide behind their mask a bit better than others.
Yes.
The mask slips a bit,
Let it slip. Yeah.
But that in my view, this whole idea of being honest, this brutal honest, it doesn't have to be brutal, maybe it does, I don't know.
Yeah.
But this sort of, uncompromising honesty, that's got to be, an important part of how we interact with each other. I think South Africans have got a head start on that actually, because I find the South African culture is one that seems to have a lot of honesty woven into it.
Yeah.
But and in converse, again, based on my own experience, some of the North American culture, not Canada as such, but the US, just seems to be, wallpapered over with veneers, that what they say and what they mean, poles apart, so.
Yeah, and they just seem to follow. They just seem to Yeah, I think that's the right word. Just follow, the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you're right about South Africans. They're very different to other nationalities that I've got to know, and yeah.
And I'm sort of been fascinated too with, over the years with the Japanese culture, because they have very well articulated, norms and expectations, but they don't say much about it. It's just this, that if you're not doing the right thing, like if you go to a public baths and you don't do what's expected, the people just stand there and look at you. They don't say anything. They just like, what on earth is going on here?
Yeah, yeah. I talking about the Japanese, I really do also, when you think of all the adverse conditions that they've had, since the Second World War all the way through to now, they've really had some as a small island and as a nation, they've suffered. Okay.
Oh, incredibly.
Somehow they just move forward and they just rebuild. They resort out. They learn from their mistakes. And they're humble about it.
One of the things I admire about the culture is this absolute passion for always trying to make things better.
Yeah.
There's
true.
never this that I've observed anyway, this sort of like, okay, well, that's good enough. It's like, no, we can do better. We can do better.
Yeah.
And I think that's really served them well, So.
But they've evolved as far as that is concerned. When you and I were growing up, we used to say Jap crap. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We bought a toy or something that was Japanese,
Yeah.
Now we say it about the Chinese, but
and remember they renamed one of their cities, as USA, made in USA.
Yes.
But it's ironic, because like from an antique like toy collector and stuff like that, people are just, frothing at the bit to get that stuff now. Which at the time was like, oh my God, what's this rubbish,
Yes.
And that sort of moved around, that sort of attitude towards like Chinese manufactured stuff. But hey, they're bringing forward quality and technology like we've never seen before, So
yeah.
all of a sudden, the critics are the laggards, So. But I think it is as part of that sort of cultural nuance, which is, we can do better. We can always do better.
Yeah.
There's always a better way.
Yeah. And when you think of, the Second World War, what do they call those pilots that kamikaze?
Oh, kamikaze,
Kamikaze, yeah. I mean, just amazing. I mean, sure. But anyway, yeah, maybe they were motivated in some sort of way. But, I've never read anything about it. I've never actually, it just amazed me. I don't know too much how they were motivated.
Yeah, I think they talked a lot about honour. It was an honourable thing, to serve the emperor.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Anyway.
Different time.
A different time. Yeah.
Anyway. Well, I should probably let you go, seeing that you're not very good at this time of day. So.
Yeah, listen, before you go, should we continue trying to give Skype a go, or should we go across to Zoom?
Yeah,
what's your opinion?
well, I mean, we can give Zoom another crack if you like, or unless you find something else that does the job. So.
Well, that's an idea. Maybe we should look. Is there anything else? I've not really been.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you use a Windows device, don't you?
Yeah, and Google as well. Google has something. Google has Google Meet, don't they?
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
We could try do. That. I've never tried that, so let's try that.
Yeah, okay. Might have to get some instructions together, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll do the same, and I'm sure it's straightforward like everything else in Google. That's it. They're also, well, I'm interested to see what they come up with in 2022, Google. Oh my goodness, because they have got some really amazing scientists and things working and developing certain aspects. So, that's another one.
There's some big collaborations going on out there at the moment between some of the big players too. So
yeah,
which is good to see at one level, I guess. So
yeah. But along with that, come on, let me stop talking. I can talk all the time now. I'm thinking of space too. I like my space, outer space, and the Elon Musks, and and getting to the moon and getting to Mars and mining asteroids and looking at galaxies with new telescopes. And
there's huge amount of work being done in that space,
isn't there just? Yeah, in that space. Yes. Okay, I accept that from you.
I said it before I realized it, but anyway.
Yes. Anyway, good day.
Okay, so talk to you on Sunday.
On Sunday, yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. Cheers, man.
Bye
Okay,
now.
bye. Bye.